Hey guys, this is House of Ramirez. You already know what's up. We're here in Atlanta representing. I'm here with Christian, and he has amazing things going on here in Atlanta, and I just want everybody to know about it. Christian, can you please go ahead and tell the audience who you are, where you're from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name's Christian Limón. I'm an artist and founder, owner of KUALI Studio Gallery, LLC. I've been open here since April 2019. I'm Mexican American. So my parents are from Mexico. I was born in California, raised in Georgia, and mostly in a small town, and then spent a lot of time in Atlanta too. So I was raised in Atlanta pretty much as well.
Nice. Yeah. So, as a fellow Tejana, I'm very proud to have you on my show. I got to flip my hair when I say that. For many people that know me, I'm the Mexican chick, So, yeah, born in Texas, raised here in Georgia, and it's definitely a flow. It's a vibe. You definitely pick up on different cultures, and I love Cali. What part of Cali are you from, or what part of Cali were you born?
Yeah, I was born in Los Angeles County, but most of my brothers and sisters were born in like East LA, General Hospital. I think when I was born, I was supposed to be born in General Hospital, but it was full, so they airlifted my mother to another hospital in Carson City. I think it's Torrance, California, Carson Hospital. So.
Oh wow, cool. Yeah. Dang, they had to give her the chopper. Run to the chopper. Yo, I got family all throughout California, friends and families, the Bay Area, Oakland, San Jose, San Francisco, moving down to LA, Sherman Oaks, then moving it down closer to the border in San Diego. And, definitely California has a place in my heart. So that's dope that you're born there. You have that rich culture close to our borderline to our country, our motherland. That's dope. That's super dope. Touching base on the gallery, can you tell us what it is that you do? Like, you already told us the name and, where we can find you, obviously here in Atlanta, but what do you do? Like, dig into it. Let our audience know exactly what you have to offer.
So, first year, what did I do was basically open up an art studio. So this is my working studio, and then also a place where I broker artwork for other people, for other artists. First year, I spent a lot of time hosting as a venue host, and then also curating different shows for individual artists, and then also for group shows for a group of artists. It could be anywhere from like 3 to 8 artists or something, or 10 or 12. So right now what I'm working on is actually pivoting into more art consultation, not only for collectors and art buyers, but for artists. So if emerging or established artists need, they all have different needs. We all have different needs as artists, because we're continuing to learn, and we always need feedback, and we need to refresh information a lot of the time. And so what I've been working on lately is art consultation, getting one-on-one consultations with artists and gauging where they're at in their careers and what their needs are, and finding the best way to, tailor a coaching with them, really, and help them out, because I think we all learn from each other, and it's really great when we all connect that way. But yeah, so I'm an art broker, and I create, so I love to paint too.
Oh, really? Wow. But to our defense, we're naturally creatives, well, to everybody has a thing, but the Mexican people, we're rich in music and in art. That's our thing. Like, music and art runs in my family's blood. Like, it's a no-brainer,
That's facts. No, that's facts. We're some of the most talented people. We have such a rich culture, and we come from such a rich land. And, it's a shame that in colleges and in schools, even from grade school through high school, that you really don't, a lot of that gets pushed back. A lot of the ancestral artistry, that we have, that rich culture, we really don't even hear about it. the Chicano culture, and all of that. So we don't get taught about that. And I know you can relate, since you were, a transplant from, and myself, but my family coming from Mexico to California and then to Georgia. Georgia is a place where you don't really get taught about your Chicano history, about the art and how we influenced art, and then how, the ancestors also influenced art and a lot of culture, the Maya, the Aztecs and Mexicas. So yeah, we have to kind of, we've taken it upon ourselves to really learn and dive into that,
I agree. My parents are immigrants, and they're from San Luis Potosí. Shout out San Luis Potosí, Mexico. And they had the Great Migration to, they took that chance, they took that risk, and they succeeded. They came here, and young 20-year-olds, and yeah, they had me and my brothers, and I was born in Texas, proud to be a citizen. Didn't know I was a citizen, didn't know I had privileges just for being a citizen of the US, because they didn't know. And I tell people all the time, I'm just very fortunate, very humbled, very thankful, from about my family and about my beginnings. We have to really understand where we come from, and I stress this all the time. To understand where we're going, until you feel that void, you'll never be whole. And once you get to understand who you are and what blood you're carrying, then you get to fully live and enjoy life and be a better version of yourself. But yeah, definitely it was, my parents, we grew up with a lot of Black families. Of course, we moved to Florida for a short while, for a few years, and there's a lot of Cubanos down there. So I was raised with a lot of Cubanos and African American families. And then we moved here to Georgia when I was like 8. And, it was nothing but Black families that we were around, and the culture has definitely molded who I am. But in that process of appreciating the African American culture, I have realized that I am not the same. I am different. And where do we come from? Who are we? Who's our, where's our lineage coming from? And, slowly but surely you start realizing that it's okay to be multicultural while you're being brought up, but you really have to dig deep as to where you come from. When I asked my grandma that, you should have seen her face. She was like, you're interested? I'm like, yeah, like, what's your grandparents look like? What's your parents look like? And it was a shocker. She was like, blonde hair, blue eyes, my mama. And I was like, what? But you really have to take that step to understand who you are. And as a Tejana, it's not always at our fingertips here on the East Coast. So it's beautiful that you're able to embrace that.
Thank you. No, I think you're spot on that we're actually, so we're surrounded by other cultures, and I think that us growing up, because I grew up, with Black neighbors and Black friends, and then I went to a predominantly Black high school, and so it's just, and then growing up in Atlanta for most of my adult life, it's, we're here, and we're eventually we all start creating the culture together too. So this is why KUALI Gallery. KUALI is also just to give a little highlight on that, is KUALI is excellent, the best, in Nahua. And so in the Nahua language, which is the Uto Aztecan language, as you might know, and so whenever somebody says the gallery's name, they're actually speaking our native language, So and the purpose here is really to empower Black and Brown artists. It's bridging that gap through art, really. And I just love that. That's why I love what you're doing, Leslie. And I think it's amazing. So.
Oh, I appreciate that, Christian. But someone that appreciates art a lot, it puts you to appreciate what others are doing. So I definitely appreciate what you're doing too. That's the ultimate goal. Like if anybody understands, that's the goal. We're all the same. And I tell people I'm not racist. I don't exclude other races out, but predominantly my target audience, my soft spot is the Hispanic and the Black community, because they had that, the cultures have given me so much, and it's a great part of who I am. That's why I feel moved to give back, and I can see that you're clearly doing the same thing. But yeah, it's we're all the same. If we cut ourselves, we all bleed the same. We're all the same people. And I was telling someone about 2 days ago, it's not about a race. It's about good or bad people. At the end of the day, when you lay your head down, were you a good or a bad person that day? Of course we're imperfect, so little things come here and there. But ultimately, were you a good person that day? Yes or no? That's all it boils down to. It doesn't matter what color you are, purple, green, yellow, blue, black, white. It don't matter. But yeah, that's super awesome. And then the fact that you were able to host all these artists under the same roof, I did a little digging, so I did see how it's like it's a thing, it's the thing, to go out, hang out with your friends and appreciate artists and just enjoy yourself. But yeah, that's super dope. And now you're actually a broker. That's phenomenal. We always need somebody in our corner that actually understands what we're doing, has been there, has done that, can advise us, can suggest, can bring opportunities. And that's always good to have. So yeah, that's super dope that you're doing that. Have there been any challenges that you've had to overcome as an entrepreneur in general?
Cool. So challenges as an entrepreneur. I think last year the challenges, like we all kind of faced the similar challenges. One, I had to completely cut off all like in-person events, obviously. So a lot of my revenue was generated through event-based revenue. So that was cut off completely. I was still actually able to sell artwork one-on-one. So the interest was there, but even my efforts kind of slowed down on that, just so I could see where everything was gonna land. So there wasn't even a big push for that. But yeah, the challenges of an entrepreneur are every day. You have to get up and be like, all right, the challenges for the day are some are the same, and some shouldn't stay the same because you need to be knocking them out. But yeah. Yeah, definitely having to cut off all of the events, because there was a lot of momentum with that right before the pandemic.
And the pandemic definitely opened new doors to opportunities. So you're used to doing something a certain way. Everything just came to a halt, and it gave us the opportunity as creatives that we are to think of alternate ways to carry on events with still building that capital, while still servicing our communities. But yeah, it shouldn't slow you down. There's always outdoor gatherings, of course, that. And also, digital. People can digitally, like we do with the High Museum of Art. We can't go in there, but we can actually view it online for a fee, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually what it pushed me to do. So I usually take a challenge, and if it's something that's in my way of achieving that goal, I know I have to get over it. There's no, it's too big of a challenge. It's like, no, it's like you got to find a big solution. You have to really keep pushing and have that big energy behind that, and not just overcome it, but like really thrive, right? Like really really say F you to the challenge, right? So that's what I did. I focused. It put me further into the vision and the business plan, to be honest with you, for this. So I focused more on the online platform. I invested pretty much I'm taking risks. We all take risks as entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. I took a risk and invested some money into the website. A lot of, a little investment, but to get great quality, right? A great quality website. Mm-hmm. That has virtual reality capabilities, or augmented reality, so where you can use your own space and look at a painting. It's really nice. It's a really great setup. And then also it pushed me to focus more on exclusive, limited capacity private viewings for the artwork. Mm-hmm. It's funny because actually right now I'm building out some walls in the studio, in the gallery. So this is so it can change up the feel, and then also so I can have better shows and still keep the experience alive. We have to do it in an ethical and safe way right now. So that's in the forefront of everything. But I still want to be able to have that experience ready for everyone that's ready to have it, in a safe way for now. So it's great. I mean, I'm still excited either way about everything,
Yeah, that's amazing. And then the fact that there have been obstacles, obviously that's just keeping it real. And then you found ways to find a solution to those obstacles and keep pushing 10 times harder than you were before. It's a learning opportunity, really, That's awesome. And it teaches us to keep pushing no matter what presents itself. There's always a way around it or through it. So yeah, that's awesome. And that's entrepreneurship 101 for many of you guys that are listening. If you don't know, now you know. Yeah. So let me ask you, what are 3 things that you have learned in your entrepreneur journey? So it doesn't specifically have to be about art in the gallery unless you want it to, but what are 3 things for our audience that are listening and really engaging into what you're doing, and maybe they're interested in endeavoring into leaving their 9-to-5 and becoming their own boss, and they're listening and they need that push to go over the hump into entrepreneurship? What are 3 things that you have learned as an entrepreneur?
Sure. Wow, to narrow it down to 3 things is a challenge in itself. But I mean, I would say is be committed, be all in, right? Be all in, be sure that of what you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. Learn sales. Everybody should learn sales. Learn sales, like just learn to negotiate your life, and then you'll be able to negotiate a sale, Mm-hmm. Learn sales and just don't give up. If you really want to be an entrepreneur, if you really want something, just don't give up. Mm-hmm. And 3 things, those are 3 things really, but
unless you want to go deeper into that, this is the spotlight for you. Yeah, like
no. I think that's good.
No, I insist.
I don't want to. No. I don't know how long we have. No,
for many of you guys that are listening right now, I just got grilled on my own show before we aired by Christian. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but it's very rigid in your email. And I was like, hold up, partner. We just got to have stipulations. But yeah, I'm gonna call it what it is, Christian. You over here, you grilled my ass out.
This is your platform. I have to respect you and your platform. I'm a guest.
Yeah, of course. But the spotlight's on you. You know what? We're not finna do this, okay?
I'm not gonna be like F your couch. It's not F your couch time. I'm your guest, okay?
Too funny. But yeah, we need to understand that that we are our own drive. We're our light, and we have to understand that we're great at what we do. Or even if we want to do something, we haven't done it yet, we're great at what we're feeling the nudge to do. For many of us that are already entrepreneurs, you definitely are a key component to motivate us to keep doing what we're doing. And also for the ones that are up and coming, a great motivation to, like I mentioned, get over that hump. There's nothing wrong with actually believing in yourself and your creative mind, whatever you have to offer to bring to the table. And once you actually put it out there, the universe is ready to pull it and spread it around. And like you said, knowing sales, for many of people that have been in retail or any type of customer service position ever, you understand that sales is what gets you the money, you know? So, yeah. And once you start to, you leave 9 to 5 to push your dream, your income is all based off of how much you push your own dream to provide for yourself. So ultimately you're providing for yourself and then giving back to the community. So it's just a big old circle. You know, we give to ourselves to give to others. We got to be full to pour into others. And it just circles around, you know. That's beauty.
No, I completely agree. And that's great that you brought up this, you know, retail jobs and you know, leaving your 9 to 5 to do that. One quick thing I would say, yes, number 4 to add to that list is find a mentor, right? Because you want to find a mentor, somebody that's going to catalyze you and help you along the way. And then you want to give value back to that person too, whenever you can, you know, if you can. But, you know, just find somebody that you can trust and that has, you know, you want to look at their accomplishments. So that counts a lot too. Somebody that's already accomplished and doing what you're doing, or at least some aspect of that. But yeah, going to the retail thing, I would say, yeah, use your, whether it's you know, a moderate or kind of, even if it's a low income job, if you're getting some kind of income or even a high income job, you got your degrees and everything, use that money towards putting it into your business, into yourself, and elevating, promoting yourself basically. And I would say that it's super important that while you're working for other people, while you're working that retail job, whether you're selling cars or selling a handbag at a you know, at a retail store or something, at a high-end store or something, anywhere, if you're selling insurance policies or if you're selling shoes at Payless, you know, take that.
Rest in peace, Payless. I just want to say that. Rest in peace,
right.
Payless.
Yeah, it's already it got blockbustered. I don't even know what I pay, you know.
But I get what you're saying. Sorry, back to the topic.
I didn't know that exists. Dang, R.I.P. Payless. But shout out to my mom, because she would, you know what I'm saying, she would buy us on, she would take care of us on a budget. You know what I'm saying?
Me too. Who you talking to, Christian? You know, we already know what's up. Kmart. You know,
Kmart. You know,
thrifting. That's my thing now. Growing up, I'm like, wow. All my childhood endeavors that I used to hate are now my thing growing up. Like, okay.
Yeah. So no, I mean, so just that. I mean, just take those jobs and take what you're learning, interacting with people, the rejections, take all of that and learn and take off with it, man. Like, make it count.
Yeah. So how would you say that taking that leap of faith into entrepreneurship, betting on yourself, so to say, what would you say that how that has changed your life? How has entrepreneurship changed Christian's life?
Yeah, it's more of like influencing, because everything kind of, you know, either, I would say more like influencing, right? How is it influences like, and changed me, because it has changed me. I think it's made me more resilient and grateful, more resilient, I think, and then the ability to endure and just be tough in different situations, you know, and yeah, and the creativity part too. It just keeps you creative, keeps you on your toes. And here's the biggest, I think one of the biggest things about entrepreneurship too is, like, at least for me, and I think other people can relate, is that it gives you a thirst for life more too. Like, you learn to be like, wow, this is like what I want to do. Like, I want to be on the edge a little bit and then have successes too, you know? So.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You know, people are like, what's your plan? Like, what's the floor plan? Like, you know, I'm like, I don't know. I got to think of it next. My next great adventure, I'll have to think it up, you know, cook it up. So it opens up the door to life, to enjoy it from your perspective, enjoying what you do and what you do best. You know, and then when you become good at it, you can spread it around. And like we mentioned earlier, it's not just a local thing, it becomes a worldwide movement. But yeah, it just, I don't know scientifically if this is real, but I be feeling it all the time that entrepreneurship, like my business and just the drive I have for what I'm doing, it uses both sides of my brain. You know how some people say, oh, sometimes we're dumb because we only use one side or a fraction of our brain? Nah, entrepreneurship is actually using all parts of that motherfucker up here, like all of it. And I'm like, oh my God, like you could break your head sometimes, just trying to solve something, or it's
Yeah.
just, it really puts those bubbles, or not bubbles, the butterflies in your stomach, just the adrenaline kicking in because you understand that you're working on something great and it's coming to life. So it's all those different emotions. It definitely changes your life and your perspective on life and how you treat others too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
man, more self-aware of a lot of stuff. You start to see blind spots. There's like a mirror put on some blind spots a lot of the time when you're an entrepreneur. On your The mirror is on yourself, on how you interact with people, on your relationships. Because there's a lot of, I mean, shit, there's a lot of confrontation in entrepreneurship too. And one, you rule of, not really a rule of thumb, but what I strive for is always just being able to work with people wherever they're at. Meet them where they're at, and then work with them, just to get it done, or have for the greater good, or for whatever the end goal is, as long as it's ethical and it's all good and going, I believe in it. It's like work with people, and there's been times where I feel like, damn, I failed in that. I failed in that relationship, right? In that business relationship or even personal relationship. But you have to, like, entrepreneurship really kind of, it puts, at least for me, like, I'm like, shit, like I got to self-reflect on this really, because I don't want to go through that again, like, or I don't want to put somebody through that again or something, you just got to be considerate. So entrepreneurship does that, I think, too.
And it does do that at times, or actually most all times. It pushes you to be a good person. Of course, nobody's perfect. I be telling people all the time, like, if you're looking for Mr. Perfect, he ain't real. If you're looking for Mrs. Perfect, she ain't real. You just got to stick with somebody's baggage and stick with them and stick it out.
Sure.
And same in entrepreneurship. There's gonna be shitty ass business owners, and you just gotta, be able to work with it or not work at all, and be the best person you can be, because at the end of the day, you're representing your brand, and you want to stand on good grounds, regardless of how others' dealings are with you on a business mindset, But yeah, and we do try our best as creatives. You always have to steer clear of people that are trying to use you, because once you're starting off and you have this light about you, in general, all entrepreneurs, you have this light, your purpose has been sparked, and we're all placed on this earth for a certain thing to do for others, a purpose. And once we realize what that is, or we start gravitating towards that, we become a light. Something sparks, and positive energy in that light always attracts good and bad. So we have to be able when to, like, Heisman the bad and accept the good. And even when we don't know how or when to Heisman the bad, it confronts us, and how to move through that in the best way possible. We can't always save all relationships, and that's just being honest. But you walking away, how did you walk away? Did you walk away the best person that you could be? Did your brand stand on good terms, regardless of what was said or done,
Right.
But always watch your back, because when you're doing things in purpose, you're always going to radiate and attract good and bad vibes. So always have to protect yourself, because at the end of the day, you're protecting yourself, to be a better version of yourself, to give into your company, to give to the community, so you could circle back around.
I 100% agree. Like, seriously, that's, you're spot on. Yeah. I agree.
So I want to tell you, like, what do you think, from your life? Of course, everybody endures things differently in life, but we all pretty much live life the same way. We're teenagers, trying to understand life, think we know it all. Young adults, something switches and we become entrepreneurs and the lights on us, we have great energy, and then we're going into adulthood. Like we all live that phase, the ladder, from baby to adult. But the way we navigate in life are different. Might be similar to a certain extent to others, but we still are different in our own way. What would you think that would, coming from your point of view, based off of what you lived, would make the world a better place? Of course, from your point of view.
Sure. I think just better communication amongst each other, and interconnectedness. Focus on interconnectedness rather than the individual needs always. But I mean, I think it's so broad too to say, but I think just better communication, right? Mm-hmm. That's it. I think that it would start with that. We would all have better quality of better quality society in general. Governing and differences between groups of people, like all of this tribalism that we've seen in the past, really 8 years, 10 years or whatever, it wasn't mm-hmm. just in the past 4 years, really, mm-hmm. but there's a lot of tribalism. It seems like I'm kind of a hippie at heart, so I love peace, and I feel like there's always wars going on, and and I think everything does start with communication with yourself. Mm-hmm. So it all starts with the self. Better communication with yourself, better communication with your partners, better communication within your group of your family, your friends, your community, and your country, everything, between countries. Mm-hmm. So I think that's it. Just better communication.
Yeah. And, the more I speak to more creatives and like-minded individuals, that has surfaced a lot in conversation. The main point that resurfaces over and over again when this question is asked, of course, we're many different people in many different ways living life. Communication is the one that rises above all as the key component to becoming a better people in general. That's super awesome. You definitely know you're doing something right when the dots start connecting more and more frequently,
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, pretty much, our parents did the best that they could with everything that they had, the resources that they had. But, in the Spanish community, women, we tend to help our daughters be more domestic. So cooking and cleaning and, attending to the family, helping mom, that's our main goal. And then for little boys, it's go outside, run around, help dad, with the car, chores. But we never really focus on properly communicating with others, and communication is very big. We do that every single day, whether it's ordering something from a restaurant menu or calling your loved one just to telling them that you miss them, speaking to a business partner. It doesn't matter what it is. We constantly communicate with others, and knowing how to do it effectively the right way is important. I think a lot of miscommunications as well as problems could be solved if the proper energy was put into communicating with one another. And to a certain point, I started realizing you can't keep saying, well, my parents never taught me that. It comes to the point where you got to pick up the baton, and you're a grown ass adult. It's about time that you start taking a responsibility for being away from the opportunity of learning how to speak to others, and you taking the initial step to actually becoming a better communicator. So yeah, I think that it would solve a lot of problems. So I always want to pick entrepreneurs' minds, just because we live life differently. And I want to ask you, what pieces of advice do you have for entrepreneurs and up and coming business owners? It doesn't matter what product or service they may have. Christian, what do you have to offer as advice for our youth?
So yeah, I would say a tip for young entrepreneurs is definitely going back, to the thing about sales. You want to learn sales. That's just hands down, you have to do that. And really, if you can, yeah, it's good to learn. Just learn, get into a business that immerse yourself into that business. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
whatever your industry is or whatever you want to do. It's just super important to get those mentors and have a plan. If you're doing like a startup, like a startup with technology, your business plan is good initially, but there's going to be so many things that are going to change. It's not like for traditional business. I think from what I know. But if you have like a small business, and that business plan is going to be important. That executive summary, the business, and really sticking to it. Now you don't want to stick to it so much that you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. That's also the thing. You have to be good at navigating and adapting. But you want to have a clear vision of how you're going to get from point A to point B, and then start taking the little steps to hit these goals, these markers around that, and know that it's a journey. Know that it's a journey to be an entrepreneur, and you just have to really have the passion, right? You have to have a passion. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That passion comes from purpose, and then once you do all the nitty gritty for the business, your purpose is definitely pushed by passion to flow into bigger things. And like you mentioned, always be open and willing to learning. We really can't grow as individuals or as a business if we're not receptive or humble enough to take criticism. Of course, you can't listen to everybody's, but accept criticism and accept pointers and just be humble and open to learning. It's part of life. It's part of business. You grow, and you definitely don't want to shoot yourself in the foot just being so rigid with business that you forget to have fun. That's initially what started everything. You wanted to feel free and fun and just you. So stick to you, stick to your plan, and always be flexible and humble to learn.
Yeah. No, I love that you said that you have to remember to have fun. Have to remember to have fun, and that's what comes down to, like, choosing your, like you said, your purpose, and being on purpose and on your passion. All of that's going to be so rewarding. Like, that's why I'm being an entrepreneur is great. An entrepreneur is great. It's because you go through all of the ups and downs, but it's so rewarding, right? You get such satisfaction seeing something through and seeing all of your hard work pay off. Like, to me, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. Ultimately, you're patting yourself on the back. Believe it or not, you're reaping the rewards of all your sleepless nights. Of course, you shouldn't get off your schedule and not sleep at night all the time. But as an entrepreneur, sometimes when people are sleeping, you're up and figuring things out, and always focus on just being free with your purpose. I love that. So at the end of my show, I always do this thing and I hit people with surprise. Cause I'm big on shout outs. I'm big on, shouting out, putting spotlight on people that are actually in my corner and helping me out. I'd like to know who Christian wants to shout out. Like, who has been in your corner that you want to go ahead and give a holler to?
Yeah, just I have to say my family, my parents and my brother and my two sisters. We're a family of six that, I thank God. I thank the Great Spirit. I thank the universe that we're all still so connected right now. And they've always been in my corner. Like, they've always supported me. Of course, your parents are always going to be your parents. So they tell you to go one route, but when they see that you're putting in the hard work and that you're serious and that you're committed, they really, if you're fortunate enough, they'll show up for you. But I know that I can be grateful for that, because not a lot of people have that. So shout out to my parents, shout out to my immediate family, and just the great artists that have trusted me with their work, and These are people that I trust as well. So there's like a mutual trust and relationship. Shout out to like King Pop. King Pop, he's an Atlanta artist here. He's been a big mentor and inspiration to me. I broker some of his artwork, but I mean, I learned so much from him. I've learned so much about myself through listening to him and watching and staying shut up. Sometimes you just got to shut up and learn. So he's somebody that's taught me a lot. Shout out to King Pop, and shout out to Marquis and all the artists that have helped me here. All the GW Harper, Gigi, she's an artist that's been here around the Go Front for a while. Michael McCullough. So these are people that I started with here. Some of the first people that had their artwork in the gallery, you know. So I think that I'm progressing too. So as I progress, I always want to be grateful for those things. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to shout people out.
Oh, yo, it's always a blessing. You're gonna make a bitch blush. But you know, it's true. Back to what you were saying, when your family initially, and here I go again, like a broken record, we tend to be the black sheep of the family that turn into the goat. So initially, you know, stepping out of this box that society gave us to run with, the 9 to 5, stepping out of the norm might not be something that's so very applauded by our family initially. You know, I've been blessed to have my family back me up, but sometimes there's a little of a challenge because they don't have that vision to understand what you're doing. But once you catch whiff and you start flying, people start to understand, oh, this is what she was talking about. This is what he was trying to do, you know? And we always got to push through that. So entrepreneurship and owning your own business is not easy, but it's definitely, like you mentioned, rewarding. And it pays off, you know, it pays off. So yeah, shout out to your family and shout out to all the creatives that are in your corner. I'm blessed and humbled to have you on my show. I'm so excited about this, and you know, many more things, great things to come for you, Christian. I'm very proud of you. It's a true honor to call you, I would dare say, a paisa, you know, a comrade in the struggle of entrepreneurship, you know. Blood. No, I'm playing. No gangs, but you know, all Mexican blood, gang.
All right, we are for life.
Yeah, amigos for life.
No, I got you. And again, I mean, it's my gratitude to you for creating a platform and being that magnet, right? Being that magnet because of your great energy and what you're putting out there. I feel that, and I again, thank you to you as well. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Christian. Well, this is not going to be the first time that you're going to be here, the only time. Of course, it's the first time. But the more you evolve, which I'm excited to be part of, you know, being a customer of the new website that you're talking about and just being able to partake in that, I'm going to dive into that. Art is a big part of my life and it's only right. So I'm looking forward to all the great things that you have for us now and in the near future. And yeah, we'll bring you back onto House Ramirez when you have more projects, because they're only coming. And you know, I'm just honored. So thank you for being here, and until next time.
Thank you again, Leslie. You're amazing, and I wish you much success. I know that you guys are poised for a lot of success this year as well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put all your hashtags, all your names for all social media handles down below this video, the audio, and also in the article, so everybody can go ahead and just click and join what you have to offer us. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Christian.
Peace.
Make sure to follow House of Ramirez on all social media platforms.